Hello and welcome to CryptoSI DAO. This is episode 8, I believe. I've entitled this episode, Let's Regroup. Okay, big fellas, let's get into this. Right, so CryptoSI DAO is aiming to be a venture DAO. So basically it's going to be a decentralized organization that builds its own apps. And from the money it creates from its apps, it builds more apps until it's built all the apps in the world and everybody who owns the token becomes rich and lives on an island. This is not financial advice. This is just an idea for something that I'm doing. Okay, so how far have we got? We made a white paper. We've made a website. We've designed a launchpad called the Vulcan Launchpad. We got all the tokenomics sussed out between myself and some other guys who are the launch partners and some other great thinkers. We had one of the contributors from DAODAO actually contribute to us. He was in a call with us. So we've gotten quite far. We've gotten very far, but we need to regroup. And here's why we need to regroup, because for whatever reason, we thought it would be a great idea for us to launch on Juno. Juno is a fantastic project. As you can see here by the chart, it is ripping and tearing. It's doing fantastically. And it wasn't, but it is now. And it will do fantastically moving on into the future, because it's a great little project and it's massively undervalued. Problem is, it's a small network. And with small networks, sometimes you have a lot of small network mentality. And I feel that's what we ran into. I was one of the ones that was very keen to launch on Juno. Some of the other people within the DAO, or the proposed DAO, the alleged DAO doesn't actually exist yet, but they weren't so keen. So I talked them out of it, or I talked them into it. I said, let's launch on Juno. We really should. Great network. They said there's no traffic there. We went to Juno. We proposed a launchpad. The deal was, if we can get funding for a launchpad, then we know the network is behind us. I've built loads of things on loads of different networks. And if the network is not behind you, all that ends up happening is you just get sabotaged later on down the line. You need the people on the network to be behind you. Otherwise, changes to the network may happen. They won't tell you if they don't really want you there. They won't help you with marketing. They won't help you. They won't say anything about your project when they're going anywhere else. They'll just eyes on their own project, and you'll just be there. So unless you can get the blessing of the network, don't bother. And I thought we could get the blessing of Juno network. We couldn't. I didn't really push it that far. We put together a proposal. Here is a proposal. I'll put a link to it in the description. I went over the proposal in the last episode and discussed all of the merits of the proposal as it was. It was literally just an opener to start the conversation. We had all of our website designed. The UI is all plotted out. We know exactly how it's going to run. It's going to be the best decentralized launchpad that there is by a country mile. There's not going to be one that can compete with this launchpad. We asked for $20,000 and we didn't get a single positive comment. What Juno wants is DeFi dApps. So they want the DeFi dApps to launch without a launchpad. So it is what it is, right? So let's regroup. Let's regroup. So what we're going to do, we're going to go to the big daddy of them all. We're going to go to Ethereum. That's where all the traffic is. That's the most decentralized L1 that there is. Argue with yourselves. It simply is. Now, on Ethereum, it's a massive platform. There's loads of money there, loads of people prepared to invest, loads of audited frameworks that we can use, that we can trust. There's loads of other smart contracts that we can interact with. There's a massive ecosystem that we can interact with that's already there. So lending, borrowing, those things already exist. We can already interact with them very easily if we're on Ethereum. So that's where we're going to go. We are going to We're going to launch using a DAO builder called Aragon. This might change. If it does change, I'm going to make another video, but chances are we're going to launch using a DAO builder called Aragon. Reason why is Aragon has been around for years and years. They are improving. I don't want to upset nobody in the Aragon community, but I don't think it's as good as DAODAO. And that's the problem. That was the reason why I was so keen to launch on Juno, because of DAODAO as well. But we can launch on Aragon. There are people who can make changes to the DAO as we see fit. But chances are Aragon is going to be what we use. It's got modular protocol. All of this is very techy, so we won't get into this now in this video. But there are some DAOs that have been built using Aragon, Avogotchi, Lido, absolutely massive, but won't be as diverse as our DAO. Decentraland, again, massive, but won't be as diverse as our DAO. API free, which is huge. I didn't actually know that was an Aragon DAO. Interesting. So that's what we're going to use. So with Aragon DAO, we will be able to easily launch the DAO without having any developers required. So we can just launch it, put in what it is we need and launch it. The reason why we don't want to have developers develop it is because developers make mistakes. Developers need to be audited. This has already been done by some other developers, and it's already been audited, so we can trust it. And that will be very important. Now, there are a few things that we're going to need before we launch. The way we're going to launch, the plan is going to be the same as with DAODAO, where we're going to launch first a very restricted version of the DAO. Then we're going to build a launch pad with the funds that are in the DAO put in by the launch partners, which will more than likely only be 2 or 3 people. Those people will pay for the launchpad to be built, and then once the DAO is actually launched, they will be reimbursed for only the building of the launchpad. They will have to buy tokens to get into the DAO, just like everybody else. There will be an airdrop, the exact parameters of which are yet to be decided. We're going to wait until we've launched until we decide what we're going to do with any possible future airdrop. Chances are airdrop will go to Aragon Holders, or airdrop may go to, I don't know, we will decide. We might partner with some specific NFT community to give them an airdrop, or who knows. It depends on who the initial people are that actually participate in the original distribution. Because of course those people are the people who put the votes in. So we may have a sub-DAO that's the airdrop sub-DAO, and that sub-DAO will vote on how it's going to give away the airdrop periodically. Most people will make those decisions. So there, that's how we're going to launch. And that hasn't changed from before. All right. So initial launch, small DAO, a few signers, build the distribution platform and launch pad, which will be something that rivals Pink Sale, it's called. So it'll be something that looks like this, as we have already developed it. We haven't developed the code behind it. We've already designed it, I should say. Sorry, we've already designed it. We designed it with Juno in mind. It doesn't really matter what platform it's on, to be honest with you. If we change it to Ethereum, it will just be in Solidity and not in Rust. If anything, it'll be easier to write. Either way, we're going to have it audited, but we may not have it audited until after it's been used a few times, because audits are very expensive and nobody wants to pay for an audit, especially not to a code base that you plan to improve very soon. So we'll launch, and then the launchpad should be continually being improved. So that's going to be the launch process. What do we need to know? Well, before we build upon Aragon, there's a few things we need to know, and these things I will make videos about. And first things first, I'm going to do a deep dive into Aragon. So that'll be one video that I'll make. Deep dive into Aragon, where we sit down and consider there's a announcement there I have to read. Deep dive into Aragon. I want to consider the tokenomics, consider how viable it is to give them an airdrop, and consider how stable their platform is, what sort of help we can get from their team to answer certain questions. There are some features that we really are going to require. There's two in particular, two features that we really going to require. Feature number one is that the DAO itself, or the smart contracts that underpin the DAO, can be upgraded. So the DAO needs to be able to be upgraded in a votable way. So we vote to move all of the DAO's assets from this particular smart contract to this particular smart contract, and then the DAO will send them all over to that particular smart contract. The new smart contract will be the new DAO, and it will act accordingly. That needs to be a thing that we can do. The second thing it needs to be able to do is it needs to be able to have smart DAOs, sub-DAOs, sorry, not smart DAOs, sub-DAOs. So we need to have DAOs that are somewhat sovereign. Sovereign is the worst word. We have to have child DAOs. So the main DAO will be the CryptoSI DAO, but we need to have a sub-DAO. So the sub-DAO might be a DAO for a particular app. So a particular DApp or app might have a sub-DAO where certain holders of a certain token can control it, but that is providing that the main DAO, the CryptoSI DAO, doesn't issue some orders to that sub-DAO. The plan is that the main DAO can always control the sub-DAOs. Or if we have a sub-DAO, then that sub-DAO can have sub-DAOs of its own, so you can have like a system, which I'll make a separate video for, where we have a hierarchy, where we have the main DAO, and then we may have what would seem like supreme courts, and those sub-DAOs or supreme courts will control other DAOs beneath them. And those supreme courts may only have 5 to 7 people in a council who can make fast decisions. So a high-risk DAO that we have may be under a certain supreme court, so that if something does go wrong, then that supreme court can then either turn off that DApp or control that DApp, or, I don't know, reverse some kind of change to the state of that DApp. It does take away from the decentralization, definitely, but these are safety rails that we probably will want to have. So those are the two features. I'll go over them again very quickly. First, that the DAO can update itself, update its smart contracts, and move all of the assets from one smart contract to one DAO to another DAO. That'll be version 1 to version 2 to version 3, etc. And secondly, that we can have sub-DAOs. We can get those two things, then we can definitely start on Aragon. Those are the two things that at the time of recording this video, I'm not sure if we can actually have them with Aragon. If we can't have them with Aragon, I'm quite sure it won't be a massive problem to add them to Aragon. Finally, how can you get involved? I know you're watching this and you're thinking, oh, well, this is all well and good, but how do I get involved? Well, you can first, most importantly, is join Discord. So we have our own Discord. You can come and join that. I will put a link to that in the description below. So join the Discord and just say I'm here to join the DAO before the DAO has even started. This DAO is going to be great, obviously. I'm going to invite people from the DAO Watch series. So anybody who I interview, and I want to interview the top people in the space, all of those people I want to invite to the DAO. So they may not stay. I can't obviously force them. It's voluntary. But chances are they're going to want to stay, especially once we start to get one or two of the really good brains in there and we get our processes for smoothing out our cognitive diversity. We get those nice and smooth and everything's clicking. Then we're going to get some real good brain powers. We're going to get some real intelligent ideas and some real good minds and some real good experience into the DAO, and then the DAO will kick on from there. So that's the reason why you should want to be in a DAO, because you'll be in the Discord with all of these great minds. and also because the DAO is going to build some brilliant dApps, and it's going to really do well for the dApps that it does build. They'll all be able to support each other. Away from that, we have reached testing phase. I will make a separate video for the testing phase and how you can get involved in that. In the meantime, the prerequisites are that you know how to use MetaMask and that you can connect your MetaMask to Girly, however it's pronounced, testnet. And on there you will find our test tokens, and you can help us by testing out the software, voting on particular proposals, or creating proposals of your own. I will make a test suite and all of that, and I'll make a video for that, and I'll show people how to use it. The more people that test, the better. And when you have a DAO like we will have, we should not be short of testers. So that should be good. We should be in a very good place. Other than that, I think I've covered pretty much everything that I wanted to cover in our regroup. So we know where we are. We know where we are heading. I'm planning to have regular calls on Twitter at least every 2 weeks, possibly every week, at around 10 a.m. UK times on a Friday morning. So Friday morning, 10 a.m. UK time, which is Indian time, I believe, around 3 p.m. in some parts to 8 p.m. in the evening. So about 10 a.m. UK time. So figure it out however you want to figure it out. Unfortunately, it means the Americans, they'll be in bed, but that's good because we don't really want to involve the Americans, because chances are their government will come and tell us not to do it because I don't know why. That's just what they do. The land of the free. That's it. Any other thoughts or discussions or ideas or anything you think I've missed, please put it in the comment section below. I do reply to all of the comments. And yeah, especially things like airdrop. How do you feel we should develop the airdrop to airdrop a percentage of the tokens? What do you think the criteria should be? Really open to ideas on that. And that's it. Yeah. So CryptoSI DAO, let's regroup. We're going to move to Ethereum. We are very excited to do it. Join the Discord if you want to be involved. You are more than welcome. And the calls will be on Twitter, or X as it's now known, on Fridays at 10 o'clock UK time. I don't know what time that will be in your part of the world. If it's in the middle of the night, blame your oppressive government. And we will see you on the other side. I'll see you in episode 8, which will be, episode 9, which will be how to do the testing. All right. Peace.